That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, to a John has a very common respiratory virus that's been going around the last couple of years, but the show must go on edition of the Always Irish Show. Not going to be a long one because my voice will not hold it, especially on a topic like this. But we're going to do as much as we can because the show's got to go on. Nobody cares what I feel like. The show's got to go on. Content's king. Let's see how far we could go on this. YouTube, hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up if you approve of the content. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want me, you can get me. Call in 312-900-8815. Again, I apologize for the voice. I'm going through a very popular respiratory virus that we all know of. We're going to try our best, okay? So bear with me if my voice gives out or I'm not as focused as I usually am. Bear with me, all right? But content's king. And it doesn't care if you don't feel well. Let's jump right in. I know the title of this has you interested in some juicy details. Here they are. There isn't much to it, but I'm proving a bigger point. Here's the details. One of the most well-respected college football writers there is, Pete Sampson, a guy all Notre Dame people know. All right. I heard him talk about Brian Kelly recruiting CJ Carr on a recent podcast. Sampson said this. He asked CJ Carr what his relationship was with Brian Kelly after attending a Notre Dame camp last year and then being at the Notre Dame USC game last year. This five-star talent quarterback everybody wants and Notre Dame desperately needs, responded that he didn't really have a relationship with Brian Kelly and the interaction when he was on campus both times was minimal. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know, Notre Dame people. That's how Brian Kelly chose to recruit the top players in the country. You could argue that a three-star recruit making a trip across the country to come to Notre Dame deserves time with the head coach. You could even argue that, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about a five-star quarterback that everybody wants and a guy like this that Notre Dame has desperately needed. Brian Kelly knew he desperately needed it. And yet the guy comes out at two different times being in Notre Dame environment saying, the interaction was minimal, didn't have a real relationship with them. Okay? That is never going to get Notre Dame over the top. That kind of effort was never going to get it done. Kelly knew it, but for whatever reason, refused to adapt and engage, couldn't adapt and engage, whatever. Now, this is not meant to be a pile on Brian Kelly session. It isn't. Well, it kind of is, but not really. The main point I'm trying to get across to people is the last few years of the Kelly era when I was pushing back on him, seeing that there was just this level we were never going to get above where we were at, doing it the same way under Kelly, beating all the teams you should beat, being pretty darn good, having these good 10-win plus seasons. But when we play the best teams or the playoff teams, can't compete. After so many years of that, I started getting frustrated, digging around, looking for answers, talking to people behind the scenes who are there, see more than I do, know more than I do, more plugged in than I am, people that are there every day in the building. And they all kept saying the same thing. Kelly isn't putting in the effort that it's going to take to build relationships with these top guys, the ones we need to get over the hump. Not only that, but he's not making it an absolute requirement that his assistants do it either. So I saw that, heard that, read that, saw that the results matched that. And I started asking these tough questions and saying, I get it. We're making it to the playoff, having good years, 10, 11, 12 win years. But we're not getting to the promised land. It's time to ask questions. So my point with this is a good thing. This is a good thing. This is encouraging. This information shows there's more meat on the bone than Brian Kelly wanted us to know about in terms of what Notre Dame's recruiting operation's truly capable of. If it's run the right way, done the right way. This is great news. It just shows all those artificial barriers that were in place. They weren't there from Notre Dame's end the way Kelly was making it seem. These were self-imposed restrictions on how good recruiting could be because Brian Kelly wouldn't put in the work it took. Wouldn't put in the work it took. So my point isn't just to dump on Brian Kelly. It's to say this is great news, you guys. We've all been conditioned. Some of you fell for it, and we'll get to that. Some of you fell for it when Kelly had you conditioned to think what he was doing was as good as it could get as far as talent acquisition. It's funny to me on Twitter and these podcasts, many of the same people that always back Brian Kelly. John, you're a hater. He's doing as good as anybody could do at ND in recruiting. He's the best since Lou. Just accept where we are in the landscape of college football. No. How about no? All those people that were messaging me on Twitter, talking about me on their show, saying I'm a hater, nothing's good enough for me. Am I even a Notre Dame fan? Those same people are now hating on Brian Kelly in their articles and on their shows. Now that more information's come out about how lackadaisical he was in certain areas, everybody's getting on board with this now. I say this all the time. Your loyalty needs to be to what's best for the program. Not just being loyal to anybody who's currently wearing your colors. That's a child's mistake, not a critically thinking adult's mistake. BK hit his ceiling. Not one imposed by Notre Dame, one imposed by him himself. One of effort. One of effort. Okay? Brian Kelly complained nonstop about the hurdles in the way of Notre Dame recruiting, what they could do, the net they can cast, all that. Marcus has had no problem raising the talent level, simply with more effort and a better message and more energy. That's all it took. And setting the example as the head coach that none of these assistants are going to outwork me because I'm the head guy. And that's my main job. Okay? So I'm thrilled that everybody now is coming to the party, better late than never. But I suppose maybe the next time people are telling you there's something going on here, don't just disregard it because that's your guy. People knew there was issues with this. And the people that spoke about it the most took a lot of shit for it. Some actual beat writers, some regular nobodies like me in their basement took a lot of shit for just not being happy with what we had and where we were, accepting that Kelly was better than the last couple guys so that that's as good as it could be, all that stuff. All that stuff. So this is encouraging. It really is for everybody involved. For Notre Dame fans, you're about to enter a level of recruiting effort and results that you've never seen before in the modern age college football at Notre Dame. So that is super encouraging. Marcus Freeman slowly breaking down all those artificial barriers Brian Kelly tried to put in all of our heads. 1 week at a time, one hire at a time, 1 month at a time, okay? Now, also, while I'm talking about encouraging news, let's be fair here. Let's be very, very fair. While this is the best possible thing that could happen to Notre Dame is being in this position now, Ohio State result be damned. All right? As if you had faith if Brian Kelly was here, he'd go into the horseshoe and win week 1. Give me a break. So regardless of how that ball game goes, Notre Dame's in a better position today than they were a year ago today. Closer to winning a title today, a playoff game today, than they were over that time because of this relentless recruiting effort that's bearing fruit. And in a few years, you're going to harvest that fruit and sip that wine, baby. All right? This is exactly what we needed. This is the kind of recruiting operation I prayed for and dreamed of my whole life. And now we have it. Now, let's be nice here. Let's play nice. I'm not feeling good. I'm in a better mood than usual. Feeling a little humility, knocked down a few pegs this week, right? Let's be nice. Well, this is great news for Notre Dame fans moving forward. It's also good news for Brian Kelly, okay? I've said it before. While I give him a lot of crap, he did a lot of good things at Notre Dame, and if Notre Dame wins playoff games at a national championship, he's going to deserve some amount of credit for that, and I still mean that truly, and I will give him that credit if we're in that position. It's the right thing to do. It's the fair thing to do, and it's accurate. But Brian Kelly's now in a spot that will better fit his recruiting needs, wishes, and desires. More local travel only, a more outwardly aggressive NIL action at LSU than in Notre Dame, less rigid academics, okay? That part of this is all a good fit for the way Brian Kelly's comfortable in recruiting. The reality is that methodology just was never going to get Notre Dame over the hump, and he wasn't going to change. Now he's in a position where he has a better chance to succeed doing it his way. Okay? So good luck to him on that. It seems like a good fit in that regard. Everybody's a winner right now. I got the coach I wanted. We're seeing the recruiting results that were promised if he was the guy. That's going great. Kelly's got a lot of money, seems happy at LSU. So good luck to everybody, okay? I can forgive a lot of mistakes. The one thing you can't ask me to forgive or gloss over is a lack of effort. That alone is the number one reason Brian Kelly didn't get over the hump at Notre Dame, is his lack of willingness to put in the effort it takes to land the elite kids from good families that can read and write, get in Notre Dame, make the 2 to 3 plays that change some big ball games. Okay? So that is a part of this I just can't forgive or get over. It was an effort thing, not Notre Dame and all their barriers and all. No. It was an effort thing. And when I can't go to bed at night, living and dying in Notre Dame, put my little head on a pillow, when I can't fall asleep knowing that my coaching staff is doing everything they can 2-4-7 3-6-5 to fill us up with the best talent, I can't forgive that. Now I sleep like a baby because I know Marcus is obsessed with recruiting more than we are, and it's beautiful. As for us, the sky is the limit of what is possible if recruiting keeps going the way it is. Even if Dante Moore doesn't go our way or one of our guys in 23D commits goes somewhere else, look at the big picture. The big picture is the talent levels rising at Notre Dame. The high-level guys we're getting are the highest of the high at key impact positions. Quarterback, defensive line come to mind. And the bottom level, okay? The bottom level isn't mid-low, 3-star guy. It's 4-star, borderline 4 stars, the minimum now. The talent level's raising, and it's the only way in the battle of NIL and everything going on now. Doing it this way is the only way Notre Dame can gain the momentum they're going to need to compete in the modern era. They're doing it the right way, giving us the best chance to do it. Okay? So this was not meant to be a crap fest on Brian Kelly. It's more of excitement knowing that these barriers we all were told, Marcus is just running right by them with hard effort and a great recruiting pitch, energy and effort, and the whole staff's doing the same thing. It's lovely. It's lovely to see, okay? So I'm going to wrap it up now while I still have somewhat of a voice. I understand this is a rough listen. It's the best I could do. Content is king. Doesn't matter how you feel. The show must go on. Go Irish.